I still remember the exact moment I knew something had changed. It wasn't dramatic, no sudden collapse, no loud realization. Just a quiet, persistent feeling that my life wasn't going to follow the path I thought it would. 2 weeks later, the test confirmed it. Pregnant. The word didn't feel real at first. I sat there in silence, staring at the small plastic stick in my hands, as if looking long enough would change the result. But it didn't. The second line was clear, unmistakable. And in that moment, my future split in two. I knew I couldn't hide it forever. So I told them, my parents. I still don't know why I thought they would understand. Maybe I believed they would see past the fear and respond with something softer, something human. Instead, I was met with silence, then disbelief, then anger. This isn't possible, my mother said, shaking her head like I had made a terrible joke. It is, I whispered. I took the test twice. My father's face hardened instantly. Who is responsible for this? The question hit me like a slap. Because suddenly, this wasn't about me anymore. It was about blame, control, reputation. I'm not telling you that, I said quietly, though my voice shook. That was the wrong answer. You will tell us. My father snapped. You've embarrassed this family enough. The word embarrassed echoed in my chest. Not concerned. Not worried. Just embarrassment. My mother stood up, pacing the room, her voice rising with each step. How could you do this to us? After everything we've done for you. I felt my throat tighten. I didn't do this to you. This is my life. But that only made it worse. You're still living under our roof, she said sharply. That means you follow our rules. And this is unacceptable. I tried to explain. I tried to tell them I was scared, that I didn't plan this, that I needed them. But the more I spoke, the more distant they became. Like I was already gone, like I had already disappointed them beyond repair. Finally, my father pointed toward the door. Pack your things, he said coldly. I froze. What? You made your choice, he continued. No, live with it somewhere else. The room went silent. No argument. No discussion. Just judgment. I looked at them, at the people who were supposed to protect me, and realized something that shattered everything I believed. I wasn't being given a chance. I was being removed. And just like that, I became someone they could walk away from. I didn't know where to go that night. The streets felt unfamiliar, even though I had walked them before. Everything looked the same, but nothing felt safe anymore. My arms were wrapped around my stomach instinctively, as if I could somehow protect what was inside me from the world, or from the reality of being alone. I sat on a bench near the bus stop, trying to process everything that had just happened. My home, my family, my future. Gone, all in a single evening. I stared at my phone for a long time, my fingers hovering over contacts I didn't know how to use anymore. Most people I knew wouldn't understand. Some would judge. Some would disappear. But there was one number I hadn't considered yet, my brother. My heart pounded as I called him. I almost hung up before he even answered. Hello. His voice was calm, familiar, real. I couldn't speak at first. My throat tightened, and suddenly the weight of everything crashed down on me all at once. I don't have anywhere to go, I finally managed. There was a pause. Not judgment, not hesitation, just listening. What happened? He asked. And for the first time that night, I let it out. Everything. The test, the confrontation, the anger, the door. When I finished, there was silence on the line. My heart sank, assuming the worst. But then, stay where you are, he said. It wasn't a question. It was a decision. Don't move, he continued. I'm coming to get you? Within 20 minutes, his car pulled up beside me. He didn't say much at first. He just stepped out, walked over, and wrapped me in a hug so strong it felt like I might break, or maybe finally hold myself together. "You're okay?" he said quietly. "I've got you." Those words, "I've got you," hit me harder than anything else that day. Because for the first time since everything started, someone chose me. Not because it was easy, not because it was expected, but because he wanted to. He helped me into the car, didn't ask too many questions, didn't push me to explain anything I wasn't ready to say again. And when we finally got to his place, he handed me a blanket, made me sit down, and brought me something warm to drink. It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't loud, but it was everything I needed. "I'll figure something out," he said. "You're not alone in this." And for the first time since I heard those words at my parents' house, I believed them. Because even when the world turned its back on me, my brother didn't. And that changed everything. The early days were the hardest. Not just because I had lost my home, my sense of safety, and the life I once knew, but because I was now carrying something that depended on me in every possible way. Every decision mattered. Every step mattered. And I had no room to fall apart. But I wasn't alone anymore. My brother stayed true to his word. He didn't just give me a place to stay. He gave me stability. A roof over my head, meals when I couldn't keep anything down, and most importantly, patience. There were nights I would sit awake, overwhelmed by fear. Fear of the future. Fear of failing. Fear of not being enough for the life growing inside me. He would sit beside me in silence. Not fixing. Not judging. Just being there. "That's all that matters right now," he would say. "You're safe. That's enough for today." And slowly, I started to believe him. Days turned into weeks. I started to find my footing again. Small routines. Small victories. I applied for work, even when I was exhausted. I saved every penny I could. I learned how to stretch what little I had. I asked questions I never thought I'd need to ask. And when the time came, I became a mother. The moment I held my child for the first time, everything changed. The fear didn't disappear, but it transformed. Because now, I wasn't just surviving for myself. I was building something bigger. Something real. Something no one could take away. There were challenges, of course. Moments where everything felt overwhelming. Moments where I questioned whether I could truly do this alone. But every time I felt myself slipping, I remembered one thing. I wasn't alone. My brother was still there. He didn't replace my parents, but he became the person who showed up when it mattered most. And that made all the difference. Over time, life began to take shape again. I found better work. I built a stable environment. I created a home that wasn't perfect but was filled with something I had been denied for so long. Support. Respect. Love. And somewhere along the way, I realized something important. I wasn't the same person who had been kicked out that night. That version of me had been scared, alone, and unsure of her worth. But the person I had become, she was stronger, resilient, unshakable. Because she had been through the worst and survived it. And now, she was ready for whatever came next. 3 years had passed. My life wasn't perfect, but it was steady, something I had fought hard to build. My home was filled with the small sounds of a growing child, laughter echoing through rooms that once felt empty. I had routines now, stability, a quiet confidence in the life I had created. And my brother, he was still there, still showing up, still the one constant I could count on. So when the doorbell rang that afternoon, I didn't expect anything unusual. I wiped my hands on a towel, adjusted my breathing, and walked toward the door. The moment I opened it, everything stopped. For a second, I thought I was imagining them, my parents, standing on my doorstep like they had stepped out of a memory I had spent years trying to forget. They looked different, older, tired, smaller than I remembered. But it was them. There was no mistaking it. My chest tightened, but I didn't move. I didn't speak. I just stood there, waiting. Because this moment wasn't something I had ever expected to face again. My mother started, her voice uncertain. Will wanted to see you. No apology. Not yet. Just an entrance. My father cleared his throat, avoiding my eyes. What heard? You had a child. I stayed silent. Let them speak first. 3 years ago, they closed the door on me. Now, they were standing outside mine. I know we handled things badly. My mother continued, her voice softer now. We didn't understand. We were upset. But, she hesitated. That hesitation said everything. But what? But they missed me. But they were wrong. But they wanted to fix it. Or just. But they needed something now. My brother stepped into the hallway behind me, sensing the tension. His presence changed the air instantly, grounding me, reminding me that I wasn't the same person they had once thrown away. I said calmly, finally finding my voice. You're a few years too late. The words weren't loud. They didn't need to be. They landed exactly where they were meant to. My father's jaw tightened. My mother looked down, her hands fidgeting nervously. They had come expecting something, an apology, forgiveness, maybe even a return to how things used to be.